To replace the static floor color with the texture, we'll need an image that we can use. You can find one in the resource folder we provided. If you like to use any other image, you are of course free to do so. But for now, I will take this dark grass PNG image and drag it into my art.sceneassets catalog. To actually really add it to the catalog, it's often better to really add this file to the corresponding scene assets folder in our file system. So if I right click on the folder and select Show in Finder, I can do just that. I can then just copy the image and paste it in the art.sceneassets folder. And as soon as I've done that, I should, when selecting the image in my project, see that its file path points to the art.sceneassets folder. Perfect. We can now use this image in our application. To do so, we'll return to our GameViewController file, and I now want to edit the setupFloor method, where I, as of now, just say UIColor.green for the diffuse property of our first material. But how am I going to edit this? Well, this contents property does not expect a specific type like UIColor, for example, but can use different things to set the color of our floor. Just like we've used the color here, I could also specify an image, simply by writing UIImage and initializing it with a name, where I pass the name of our image, including the folder name, so art.sceneassets/darkgrass.png. And this should map our image texture onto our floor node. Without any further changes, let's run the app and see how it looks. The app started, and we can see our image as a texture of our floor. But it really does look very pixelated and blurry. The reason being that if we don't specify any further properties, SceneKit will just map our image over the entire floor, which will then scale it to a bigger size than it actually is. So let's stop the app and fix this. To do so, we'll have to set a few properties, beginning with floor.firstMaterial.diffuse, and then .repS and repT, which I both want to set to .repeat. So first repS and then write the same exact line for repT and also set it to .repeat. What this does is repeat our texture and not stretch it over the entire geometry that we are applying it to. I will now also write floor.firstMaterial.diffuse.contents_transform, where I can transform the diffuse property and I only want to change its scale, which I can do by writing scene matrix for make scale, which I can add X, Y, and Z values to. But the scene matrix for make scale will return a 4-dimensional matrix for the contents transform property. If I want my image to appear smaller and more often on my geometry, I need to specify numbers bigger than 1. The bigger the number, the smaller the image will be. I'll just say 12.5 for all 3 values, which will make our image a bit smaller and more crisp, but not repeated too many times, which would result in unnecessary waste of resources. Let's run the app again and see if it worked. Should that be the case, our floor should still have the grass texture, but it should look much more crisp. And that's exactly what happens. Our floor now looks more like actual grass, which we've achieved by just mapping a PNG image onto our geometry. We can then stop the app. And the next thing we're going to do is already start adding lanes or roads to our game, which our player will later have to cross.